Okay, so welcome to webinar 3. For those of you that were with us in the first two, this is about business analytics. So in a nutshell, business analytics is getting relevant, pertinent data from all over the business and getting it together in one place so that we can analyze it quickly and easily to gain insight and make more money. Today we're going to concentrate on employees, so their performance. We're going to look at what's happening in the tills around loss prevention, and then we're going to look at customer loyalty around the loyalty card system. So what's key to all of this, and again all three webinars I've given the same message, it's about granularity of data. If you can get data in at the lowest possible level, which in this case from a till system is transaction line level, then you can do a myriad of things with it. You can add it all the way up to a total figure for the whole company for a period of time, and you can drill all the way down to an individual pint of Guinness in one particular pub at a particular time. So it's very powerful, and the sweet spot and all the analysis lies in between those two. So we spoke about unit performance a couple of weeks ago. That's one dimension in this data. We then looked at basket analysis and product. That's another dimension. Well, employee is just another dimension. We can use our same metrics as we use for looking at units to look at employees, but obviously it gives us more detail. We're then going to talk a little bit about loss prevention. What we're not going to do is predictive analytics. So one element of loss prevention is look at the data, throw some predictive analytic algorithms at it and get it to predict which members of staff are likely to commit fraud. This isn't that. This is really just looking about what's happening at the tills, what's the behaviour of the employees, and gain some insight from it. See if you can look at any potential training issues or any potential fraud issues before they actually happen. What we're going to do then is look at loyalty. Again, if we can get this loyalty data together, mix it with our predictive analytics, in our predictive analytics solution, mix it with our till data, we can do all sorts of things then. And loyalty customer, again, just becomes another dimension, just like employee and pub name. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go into my predictive analytics software. This is a product called ClickView. We're going in via a web browser. It's a web-based system, which means that you can use it on a desktop, or you can use it just as easily mobile on a tablet or a smartphone. It's completely browser agnostic. I'm using Chrome, but you can use Internet Explorer or Safari. And that's key. People need to be able to consume business analytics wherever they are, not just in the office. So to talk a little bit about this application, and again, those of you that were with us previously, you'll recognize this. It's the same application as we used for the previous two webinars, and that's key. What we want to do is to get all our interesting analytical data together in one place, so that we have one place to go to gain insight, one version of the truth. So we've got real pub data here. This is zonal data. It comes from a customer. I've changed the names of the pubs and the names of the people just to really protect the identity of the customer. But the metrics and the numbers are real. So any insight we gain is real. Okay, so we're looking at a business overview dashboard here. As I said before, this is the lowest level of granularity data in here. We've got transaction line level data, and we've added it up. There's 3 million transactions, which is 19 pubs for 2 years, and we can add it all the way up to a total year-to-date number if we want to. But it's an addition of all those individual transactions. Now, the way ClickView works is you make selections. So if I select one of my divisions here, City Taverns, the pubs that are in City Taverns go white. So what's associated with my selection is white. What's not goes grey. So the ones that are grey are actually in country inns. And really, in a nutshell, that is ClickView user training. If you just want to consume these dashboards and gain insight from them, that's really pretty much all you have to know. And that's key to good business analytics these days. They don't need a 10-day training course. They're literally intuitive and very easy to use. Okay, so I'm going to go on to my employee dashboard. Before I do that, the previous webinars, we went into product and units and basket analysis. Again, I'm going to go to employee now. I'll reiterate, it's the same data. We're just looking at it in a slightly different way. So let me clear my selections. If I change this here to employee, this is an employee scorecard, if you like, a league table, and it's showing only the top 20. And I can sort by any of these headings. So yeah, right. So if I select 2013 because that's more relevant, that's the latest year, we can see that Terry is our best seller. She sold the most product this year. She's done nearly £250,000 worth. Next one is Ronnie. So we've got a league table here of the things that are important. We've also got some spend per head information here as well. And spend per head is a key metric for us. We have a £10 threshold. We expect everybody and every pub to be able to have at least an average £10 spend per head, and both Terry and Ronnie are achieving that. That's why their metrics are green. People further down haven't. So again, it draws our eye to these particular issues. But let's see. Let's have a look at Terry. So if I select Terry, everything is now just Terry. And I can see straight away with our green, white, grey that we spoke about, Terry works at the Black Lion. So let's look at the Black Lion in particular. So if I select the Black Lion and take my selection off for employee, we're just looking at the Black Lion, and we can see that Ronnie is also in the Black Lion. So there's some good stuff going on there. Our two top sellers work in the same pub. Okay. So what do we do with this? Well, we could automate this. So we could automate league tables to be sent out on a weekly basis to the pub, benchmarking league table by pub or by region or by company if that's appropriate. To get some competition between people. Because this data this information really is as up to date as your EPOS system, as up to date as the last time the data polled back centrally. We can use this to incentivize staff as well. So, as I said before, spend per head's a big part of this business. We're trying to grow it. I could incentivize people within the Black Lion if they can put 5p on their spend per head in the next week. Then I'll pay them an extra 50p an hour for their time. Now, how would they do that? Well, that was the last webinar. That's when we spoke about basket analysis and what sells with what and how can we upsell. So you'd arm them with some basket analysis reports, and you can track how they're doing within here, and you can incentivize them. So you can change behavior. Okay, so moving on to employee behavior. Certainly employee behavior in relation to tills anyway, and how they're using the tills. We've got some metrics that are important to this business as well. So we've got no sales and clear alls. If we hover over the title here, we can see what makes these things go red. So a food-led pub, if it's over 3%, it'll go red. If it's mixed, it's 4%. If it's wet, it's 9%. So again, just you don't need to know that. You can the product will tell you, so it's easy to use. Anything over 3%, no matter what, of clear alls in any pub will go red. So if I double click on clear all percentage, again I'm still in the Black Lion. Let me take the Black Lion off. So we're everything now, all pubs for 2013. The worst offender is Leela. So let's look at Leela. I can select her. She works in the Five Oaks. So that's interesting. The Five Oaks actually is not a bad pub. It's doing £11.41 on average spend per head. And Leela, this is her time of day analysis. This is when she sells or when she works, and this is the day of weeks that she works. If I take the selection off for Leela, we can look at the 5 oaks in more detail. So we know, actually, if we just look at the 5 oaks, we've got some big problems in the 5 oaks. The majority of people, certainly that do any business, are pressing far too many clear-alls. So is there a training issue? Maybe the pub's really busy and people are rushing, or maybe it's something more sinister. Maybe there's a fraud problem. So we can get a bit deeper. We can find out a bit more. So if I select Leela and I go to my audit tab, I can look at the individual transactions that Leela's been doing. And this is when I said before about transaction line data. This is it. This is the lowest level. So we've gone down all the way down to the detail. And if I just start to scroll down here, we can see that the clear-alls is just really where she's been a bit careless in what she's put in the till. Yeah, and she's just clearing them off. So it's a conversation with Leela. So it's about gaining insight. It's about seeing what's there. It's about seeing what's seeing what's going on from a trend. Seeing the traffic light's gone red, and really gaining insight, and then going and have a word with that member of staff or that particular area manager. So if we move on to loyalty, right, loyalty. There's a few things to talk about here. The way loyalty works in this business is a loyalty card member signs up. They get a card. When they buy product, they present that card at a particular. They present that card at the point of sale, and it's swiped through the till. Now, what that means is those transactions that we've been talking about are now tagged with a loyalty card number. So that then becomes really, really interesting, because we know exactly what these people have bought. We know where they've bought it. We know when they've bought it, and we know what they've bought it with. So there's some really, really powerful information in that, and we'll go on to build on that in a later webinar around marketing, eShot. Let me talk very quickly about marketing now, because this is it's quite an interesting bit here. What makes a good customer? Well, one that buys a lot, yes. And we can see we've got this guy here, John. John spent a lot with us. In 2013, he spent £16,000. But is he a good customer? Well, he probably is. But the fact that he spent a lot doesn't necessarily mean that he's a good customer. If he spent £15,000 9 months ago and hasn't been in since, well, then he's probably not a good customer. He's probably gone somewhere else. So we have this concept of RFM, recency, frequency, and money. So what we do is we look at how recently someone has traded with us, and we put a score against it. We see how frequently they've traded with us, and we put a score against it. And we see how much money they've spent, and we score that as well. And then we add those up, and we've got one number, the RFM metric, that we can segment on. So it just gives us a bit more intelligence around what's a good customer, rather than just sheer quantity of stuff they've bought. So we can use that in our marketing. We can market to people with an RFM score that's decreasing. These are people that used to be good and they're going off the boil. Let's get them back in. So RFM's a key bit. Also, we know who these customers are. We know where they live. We have their postcode. If we have their postcode, we can put a dot on a map. So this map here, these dots represent all of these card holders and where they live. The red dots indicate that the customers actually spent less this year than they spent last year. The green dots are when they've spent more. There's all sorts of things we can do with this. We can change the size of the dots as well, based on any metric. We can change the opacity of it to see the transparency of it. There's all sorts of things so that we can really gain some insight geographically. What we can do, though, is we can drill down on this. So if I'm interested in Brighton, particularly the Brighton area, I can draw a box around Brighton, and I can drill down to the next level. And this is a Google Map interface, so it just takes us down a bit deeper. and we can see that around these are the card holders around the Brighton area. Let's just go a bit deeper. We start to really understand where our card holders are and what they're doing. If I'm doing some marketing around this, say I have a pub in Brighton, right near the pier, the sun is shining, and I want to get these people in for a Pimm's after work on the way home, then I've got these card holders. These as I've made these selections, these are the card holders. These 30 or 40 card holders here. I can export those to an SMS or an e-shot software. I can send it out saying, come to my pub near Brighton Pier and get a free Pimm's after work. So really sort of focused geographical marketing. I can get down a bit closer if we want them within walking distance, and we can just keep drilling until we get right down to street level. So quite interesting insight there. So let's go clear all our selections, put 2013 back on. I can also look at how they've behaved when they've been in the business. So as I said before, we put a card number against the transaction. Therefore, we can see the kind of things that these people have been doing while they've been in the business. So I can do some really laser-focused marketing here. I can use this as a segmentation engine, if you like, for my e-shot software. I feed into that. So as an example, I'm going to market to women who have an RFM score of more than 20. There they are. We're getting quite low now. Who have drunk Rabbit Rosé, and there we go. We've got a dozen ladies there who are really good customers. They're between a 20 and 30 RFM score. We drop that out to a text file. We put it in our eShot software, and the eShot software sorts out the email. What's key though is that we can then get a feedback in from that eShot software that will tell us how successful that particular marketing program has been, how successful is that message, and more importantly, did those people come in subsequent weeks? So we can really look at the return on investment around our marketing. Okay, so just to tie this up with fraud and loss prevention, one thing I can do is I can again I've taken off all my selections. We're just looking at 2013. You spoke a little bit about John, who's done £16,000 worth of business. Let's look a bit more detail about John. So again, I can click on this. I can select him. This whole application is now just about John and what he's done in our business. That's where he lives. In our business overview, this is when he's been in our business, or when he's eaten in our business over the week. This is his trading pattern, time of day analysis. He comes in a little bit after work, a little bit after lunchtime, but mainly after work. When he eats, he spends £11.60, and we make a bit of margin out of him. So yeah, it's good. It's good. It looks like a customer. Let's get a bit deeper. So I go to my product tab. Again, it's the same data, just looked at in a different way. We can see that the split between bar and food, £5,000 and £7,000. He does a bit of both. So let's drill down to the next level, and sure enough, he's done all of those categories as well. So let's keep going and keep going, and at the end of the day, John has eaten and drunk virtually everything in our pub. Yeah. Now, at this point, alarm bells ring, because this is a card that's allocated to one person. That's the rules of this system. One person can use this card, and people are creatures of habit. You maybe see them as bitter drinkers or wine drinkers. With a bit of food, you certainly wouldn't see everything here. This man's like a one-man stag weekend. So I smell a rat. What's happening? Why is this going on? Well, let's see who served him. We go to our employee tab, and we look at actual sales. In fact, I won't. I'm going to go to my audit tab. I'm going to open up a different report. So this is about what's happening on the tills. If I sort by number of transactions, we can see that this is just John, again with same selections. Diana Class, he served John on average, well, at least a third of his transactions, which is an enormous amount, really, to consider that he's done 1,600 transactions. So there's something not quite right here. So sure enough, upon investigation, Diana and John live together. What happens is Diana takes John's card to work, mainly on a Monday, as we've seen. That's when she works. She works a lot on Monday, and she will present that card when at the till. If when somebody comes to cash up and they don't present a loyalty card, she will simply swipe his. Now, he uses it elsewhere himself as well because other people have served him, but that's fraud. So we need a word with Diana, and that is a true story. That actually happened. So not a nice story, but again, just to wrap this up, if we can get this data in at the lowest possible level of granularity, this transaction line data, and we mix it with other data in the business, so we've mixed it with loyalty data, data from the till, we've got Google Map data, we've got postcode data, we mix all this together in one place, we can really follow our nose through this data to gain some real insight and to make some real difference, to make some more money. So that's me. Thank you very much for your time. I'll pass you back over to Penny.
Thank you very much, Jason. So I hope you found Business Analytics webinar interesting. I hope you're able to join us for our next session, which is on 20th of August. We're going to be covering how you can simplify the budgeting, planning and forecasting process. We have a bit of a break between now and August, so I think we have a month off due to holiday period. But hopefully you can join us on the 20th of August, and then on session 5, which is on the 3rd of September, and that's marketing segmentation, where we'll go through the marketing segmentation in a lot more detail. Thank you very much for your time.